This is definitely so. My question is going to be: should Joshua fight Wilder next?
You know what? I mean, I think for the money everybody's going to make, yeah, I think they'll benefit from it, both Wilder and Joshua. But I think that was a better fight a few years ago. I don't think Joshua is really the same fighter anymore from a psychological perspective. He's a bit hesitant in closing the gap, closing the distance. He's not as explosive in his first step when he closes the gap. He's kind of trying to tiptoe his way in there, trying to finesse his way in there. And that was never really Joshua, you know? Joshua was a guy who saw his opening, closed the gap explosively, and then hurt you. And I think if you kind of hang around in that middle range trying to figure out the exact precise way to close the gap, you're going to give Wilder that range to open up with the jabs and right hands, which, yeah, okay, people say, oh, that's all Wilder has, but that's all Wilder needs in most of his fights and most of his career. And if you're hanging around at that middle range trying to, you know, doubt yourself whether you're going to close the range or not, you're going to find yourself on the end of a Wilder punch. And I don't think that Joshua's at his best at this point, or maybe that he'll ever get to that point again. You listen, I loved watching Joshua when he was the guy who was explosive, the guy who was fearless, the guy who, despite being knocked down by Vladimir Klitschko, roared back and didn't care and closed that gap on Klitschko and eventually stopped him. That Joshua I'd love to see against Wilder. I don't think that Joshua exists anymore, and that's why I'd rather not see the fight.
Final one for me. If Usyk and Fury does happen, who have you got in that fight?
I think Fury's too big. I think Fury's nothing to do with the way Usyk and Dubois played out, but I think Fury's too big. And I think he's a big guy. There's been big heavyweight champions, but never this athletic. He's a big guy with an athleticism that we haven't seen before, of a guy that size. So he can beat you up athletically, he can beat you up physically. And so if you're too technical for him, which maybe Usyk is too technical for him, he'll just physically wear you out, you know, and he's that big that he can do it. And he did it to Wilder in the second fight, if you remember. So it would be tough for me to pick against Fury in that fight.
Last thing, just before we go, sorry. Good to see you back. I like the niceness of boxing. You're breaking down really good, especially for the casual fans that don't understand it. When I'm watching my friends that don't understand boxing, and you're commentating, they understand it now. You know, so
I'm glad I could do that.
Glad you're back, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.